Hi guys, my name is Cynthia, and today, we are going to talk about my favorite gardening tool, and that is ollas. So this is how I water my garden, and I'm sure that if you saw my video that I posted a few weeks ago about my winter garden tour, you would have noticed that my garden is extremely far away. So there's two reasons why that is. First reason being that we utilize our yard a lot, right? And so I was concerned, like, if there was like a football or a baseball being thrown around, that it wouldn't damage any of my fruits or vegetables. So that's, reason number one why we decided to put the garden where it is. Reason number two, and actually this might be the most important reason, I really wasn't sure what kind of gardener I was going to be. I wasn't sure if, I was going to be like a messy gardener, a neat gardener. I didn't know if there was going to be weeds everywhere. And like before I started, planting out in those long garden beds, I always was a container gardener. So it's really easy to keep those tidy and neat because there's not much, surface area there, right? And you could always like add more stuff and things kind of grow and almost take up the entire container. So I never had to like worry about it looking kind of, gross and messy. So that was another part of the reason. And third, so I guess there's three reasons actually. The third reason being is I wasn't sure if it was going to be for me. I wasn't sure if I was going to be any good at it, right? Like I'm still learning, and some things fail, some things, do well, but I also thought like, oh my God, what if this isn't for me? And now I have this like 3 by 6 by, these large containers, beds full of dirt. And yeah, you can move everything, but it's going to take some like force and just lots of energy. So I thought, okay, let's put it way in the back of my house and it'll be fine. And, so on and so forth. So that is, the few reasons why, we decided to put the garden all the way back there. And then, I thought to myself, well, I have a hose link. It'll surely reach. It does not. The hose links, I believe, are like 85 feet. And my garden is a lot further than that. So a lot of the times when I water, I've had to attach another hose to my hose link, drag it out there, and then spend hours and hours and hours, watering. And then it's like, am I watering too much? Am I watering too little? Like there was just so many things. And then, like what if, the top of the soil is hydrophobic and it's just, having runoff? Am I even getting to the, the deep roots? I don't know, right? So then I did a lot of research and I saw that ollas. Ollas are something that have been around for over 4,000 years. They actually originated in like North Africa and in China, and they use them the way, we currently use them, right? They use them for irrigation, they use them to cook in, they use them to store things in. They have so many uses, at least back in the day. I wouldn't recommend, cooking in any of the ones that you can buy for watering. But that being said, this is like an ancient way of watering. And I'm going to tell you right now, it absolutely works. So I had one olla. I had this olla last year, and that container was by far the best container in my garden. I will post a picture. The tomatoes were great. The flowers around it, I never had to worry about it. I watered this, and I believe it lasted in the heat of the summer 4 days, maybe more. I mean, and that to me is so impressive. So let's talk about how these guys work, right? So they're made of terracotta, they're made of clay, and that is a porous material, obviously, right? So basically, you stick these down in the dirt, and the dirt around it is going to absorb the water out of these ollas. The greatest thing about that is that you don't have to worry about underwatering or overwatering. It literally does everything that you absolutely need. It's like a nanny for your garden. And I just think that that is like such a great way to put it, like a nanny. And this particular company, this one right here, they're called Plant Nanny. And I just thought like, oh my God, that's genius, because they're assisting you in caring for your garden. So I'm like, yeah, it is a nanny. But anywho, essentially how it works, you dig this deep into your soil and it will sit there and it'll evaporate. And of course, each and every single one of them is going to have a circumference, right? So these two, even though they're extremely different, like this one is so much larger than this one, both companies say they do 3 feet around, 120 centimeters all the way around. And that's pretty decent. I mean, could you imagine just like filling this up and not having to fuss with it for like a week. And it's going to do 3 feet around. That is absolutely incredible. So the cool thing about the ollas is that because they're so down there in there deep in the ground, they're going to get that tap root. You know, a lot of our vegetables and fruits sometimes have tap roots, and they're going to get the nutrition in the water that they need because it's all the way into the ground. Now, of course, when the weather is nice, I will install every single one of these with you so that you can see how to put it into the ground. I live in zone 6, 6A, and so right now we've got snow and I can't show you, but I wanted to bring this video to you now so that if it was something that you were, thinking about or pondering, that you could start to, have your collection going, because they are more affordable than irrigation. I'm going to tell you that right now, absolutely, for sure. And especially with irrigation, you have to blow out the lines. Sometimes if you have hard water, they get clogged up, then you have to replace it. You constantly have to check irrigation, not to mention you have to trench to where it's got to go. And like mine's really far. There's no way I'm going to do that. Not this house, unless I put the garden closer to my house, which I really don't have a place that gets the amount of sun that it needs and that would feel like it would look good near the house. I don't know. I'm kind of like fussy about that. So for me, where the garden is, it works. And I'm definitely not going to pay someone to trench all the way down there. And I'd have to trench deep because we get really cold and the pipes could freeze and burst. There's just so many things. So even though this is way more affordable than, doing irrigation, it's still going to cost you money, right? So I'm going to go over all the price points for all of these and a little bit of a hack that I found. And I actually saw this on a YouTube channel a while ago. And I remember thinking, I think this was last year, I saw this on this channel. And I remember thinking, what a great idea. That's such a cool idea. But then I never did anything with it until I went to Goodwill and I found one. And I was like, yes. So first I want to talk about this guy. So this is a wine cooler. And as you can see, it's another terracotta vessel. So why not let it be an olla for us? Oh, I have my little notes here. So I got this for $4.99. I actually got 2 of them. Here is the other one. It's right over here. And this one was also $4.99. What I like about this is that, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of shiny. I don't know if you can see that shine. It actually is glazed. And the reason why is because this is supposed to sit on your table. You're supposed to put your wine bottle or champagne, whatever you want to, whatever you're drinking, on here, and it's going to collect the condensation so that it does not ruin the surface of any of your tabletops. So that's why this is kind of glazed. I am going to glaze it again because the more that you have out exposed to the air, the more it's going to evaporate. And the whole point of having these ollas is that you dig it down deep and only leave just the neck of it out. And because this is technically not a traditional olla, right? I want to make sure that I'm going to glaze it so that it actually prevents it from, evaporating a lot quicker. What I also like about this vessel is that it goes straight down. And I'm going to put these in my carrot bed because think about it. If I plant my carrots with one of these and I plant one right here, it's going to go down and possibly bend, and I'm going to get a wonky carrot, which is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with a wonky carrot. But because this one goes straight down, I can just plant around it and all my carrots are just going to, grow perfectly straight down. And I just thought, oh my God, that's genius. I'm definitely going to do that. But I found 2 of these and they were only $4.99. This is probably the cheapest one that I can find, and I just think it's great. And it's got so much, like you can hold as much water in this one as you can in this one, which, is absolutely great. Here is this guy. So this guy comes in a pack of 4 and I got it from Amazon. I believe that they were less than $20. Everything will be linked below just so that, you can get it if you want. And you can also look at the prices and, compare and contrast with whatever else is on the website that you find it on. But This one is glazed except for right at the bottom. So this one kind of sits at the top of your planter like this, and then you can water it. I actually put these in my window boxes because the window boxes are kind of shallow, and I find that, you know, whenever I was like going to go away for some time, that if I deep water the window boxes and then put these in there, my window boxes lasted a little bit longer and I didn't have to have someone come and, you know, water my boxes for me. So that's a plus. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the Olla Company. So this one I also got from Amazon. It is $64. It is quite pricey actually. And this one here, as you can see, much smaller this one is than this one. And this guy is much cheaper. So here's the box for the Olla Company. This is what it looks like. And of course, like I said, I'm going to link everything. And this is the one I had last year. I, since having one, have asked several people, like for Christmas gifts and birthday gifts and all the gifts, hey, I need an Olla. Can you get me an Olla? Blah, 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 blah. Like I said, they are affordable, more affordable than irrigation, but they do have a price tag, right? Like they're not free, so it is an investment. And my beds are 6x2, which means I'm going to have 2 Ollas in each bed because they do, you know, 3 feet all the way around. And if this is $64, we're looking at, you know, $128 per bed. I have 4 beds. We're looking at about, you know, what, $500 right there. That is not cheap. So, you know, that's why you can see I have an array of different Ollas. The next Olla I want to talk about is, I'm going to talk about this one. This is called the Plant Nanny. As you can see, it's right here. I actually got a smaller one. This is from my local garden center. I was so excited when I saw it that I bought 2 big ones and 1 small one. And then I was thinking like, okay, well, I'll save a little more and I'll go get some more. And then I realized, oh my gosh, they were sold out. And so it's kind of a bummer. But the cool thing about the Plant Nanny is, let me show you. Down here, they have this styrofoam, and the styrofoam is going to float when the Olla is full. And as it evaporates, it's going to sink and sink and sink, and it's going to indicate to you, oh, your Olla is empty, refill it. I just thought that was great. The only thing that I do not love about this particular Olla is that, again, it has that large, you know, circumference, and you're already losing space in your bed because, you know, the Olla itself, you know, takes up space. And that's something too that you have to, you know, think about. If you have a small garden or you have like 1 garden bed, you may not want to use Ollas because, like I said, it is going to take up at least a square foot of your, you know, gardening area. So that's something you have to think about. The next one I want to talk about is this one, the very large one, one of my favorite ones. This is by Bio Green, and I absolutely love this one. This was in the $40 range, I'm pretty sure. I will link it below, but just before warned that I got this on Amazon a while ago, and when it came to my house, I wasn't sure because I really liked the Olla Company, but because they were $64, I had to like, you know, like, oh, look around and see if I really was going to buy more of these very expensive ones. But then I saw this one, the Bio Green, and it was in the $40 range. So I said, okay, I'll buy the largest one and see if I like it. Well, it got here and I'm like, I love how large it is. I love that it stores a lot of water. I'm going to buy more. And I went on Amazon and the large one is sold out. So that is a huge bummer. But this one, let me move the Plant Nanny. This one is great. This one, though it's not English, because of all of the pictures, we can see here, it kind of gives you a diagram of, you know, the circumference between the large, the small, and the medium. It shows you exactly on how to plant these. As you can see, like I said, you want to only have the neck exposed. Like I said, the more of the pottery you have exposed, the more it's going to evaporate. And even though it's still going to do a good job for you, it's not going to work at 100% if this much is sticking out of the soil. You want this much to stick out of the soil, just enough so that you can pour the water inside. So every single company has instructions, right? A lot of them say, hey, you know, dunk them in water, soak them a little bit, get the pottery extremely soaked so that you can make sure that there are no dry patches. Now, I have not done that. Like with this one last year, I just stuck it in the dirt and then I put the water in and it worked completely fine. But I always suggest that you listen to the instructions or you follow the instructions. I did not do that. I am going, however, to do that this year to see if it makes a difference. I don't know if it will will, but I'm definitely going to do that with these because these are not traditionally ollas. You can also make these yourself, and I thought about DIYing it myself, but then I thought about having to buy the pots, having to buy the the stuff that you put to like plug up one of the holes, and then having to, it just seemed like a lot more work than I wanted to do when you can find them affordably, you know. And I understand, I think all in all, maybe it's like less than $20 to make your own homemade one, but you know, this one was like 30 bucks, and I would prefer to, I don't know, have it done for me. And then like, what if that one leaks or breaks? I don't know. There was just like so many reasons why I didn't do like my own homemade one. And I'll post a picture of what that looks like so, you know, you can see what the homemade one looks like. Okay, so let's talk a few of the benefits, which I feel like I've already touched on, right? You can't overwater, you can't underwater. This is going to help with runoff. So a lot of the times when your soil is baking in the sun, the first couple of inches of soil kind of can get hard, you know, because they get dried up, they kind of get compacted because you have mulch or whatever may happen. And sometimes that can cause runoff, which means that when you're pouring the water on the top, it's going to just like not hit any of the roots. It's going to go on the sides of the bed. And having these will definitely not allow that, right? It's going to go and attack and be in the roots. You know, as you can see this picture here, right? If the roots are down here, right? And the water, it, like say you don't have one of these, the water's just going to run off the sides and not get to the root. But this is going to, you know, soak in to the soil at the root base, which, like I said, like I'm sure I posted a picture already, but that was the best container I had. And the other ones that I had to, you know, hand water, they did great. I mean, it was fine, but it was so much effort, right? Like if you, especially if you work a lot, like if you work long days and then it's like so hot outside, it's like 100 degrees. It's like gonna be really annoying to have to be out there for 2 hours watering your whole garden. And believe me, I know I've done it, and I will do it for the love of gardening. But you know, the container I had this in was so effortless, and it was absolutely beautiful. Long story short, there's just so, you know, the water runoff, time saving. What else? Water conservation. I mean, there's just so many reasons why I'm going to always use ollas from now on. This is probably my favorite tool in the garden aside from pruners. But yeah, I'm really excited. I still have a lot more to get. As I said, I have to put 2 in each bed, and then each of my barrels, I put 1 in also. So I've got a lot to get, but I have been collecting. I have more over there, so I'm pretty close to being done needing any more ollas. So let me know, do you guys use ollas? Do you have any that you can recommend that are affordable? And which one is your favorite olla? And yeah, like I'm going to do a tour of my Goodwill because of all the Goodwills in my area, because this right here is probably the best deal. You can see it's just about the size of all of them, and it was $4.99. $4.99. That's incredible. But that is all I have today, guys. And I want to say thank you so much for spending time with me. And remember, if you didn't get it done today, there is always tomorrow. Thanks for watching.